Well, now, friend, let me tell you something that might just tickle your curiosity. And if you're not careful, light a fire under your seat. And don't worry, it's the kind of fire you'll actually thank me for later. You see, at 80 years old, I've discovered a peculiar little truth. Aging doesn't have to be the slow, creaky, gray slide that people love to warn you about. Nope. Sometimes it can be a little suspiciously unfair to the youngsters. What do I mean by that? Well, I've been accused, more than once, of aging in reverse. Yeah, people actually say that to me. Now, I don't want to brag, but when a 45-year-old nephew looks at you with genuine confusion and says, "Paul, you're moving better than me," well, you've got to smile, lean in, and say, "Kid, it's not magic, it's maintenance." Then you watch his face fall like I just told him Santa Claus was a part-time gig. Now, before you roll your eyes, thinking I've got some secret millionaire anti-aging spa treatment, or that I drink kale smoothies blessed by monks, let me set the record straight. I've just kept 5 little movements in my life that most folks my age, heck, even younger, have forgotten about. And these 5 moves, if you can still do them at 75, you're not just aging well, you're going backwards, friend. But here's the catch. I didn't learn them all at once. Oh no. I stumbled onto them like a man finding coins in an old couch. One here, another there, some by accident, some because I wanted to show off at a family barbecue. And let me tell you, when I realized what they were doing to my body, I stuck with them like a grandpa sticks with his favorite brand of socks. Before I spill the beans, let me ask you, when's the last time you actually tested yourself? I'm not talking about seeing how many cookies you can eat in one sitting or how long you can hold your bladder during a bus ride. I mean really tested what your body can still do. Because here's the thing, after 60, you start assuming you can't do certain things anymore. You tell yourself, "Oh, that's for young people." And without even trying, you hand over your abilities, one by one, like you're donating them to a thrift store. Well, friend, I decided long ago that my body wasn't going to become a thrift store. The first move? The deep squat. I can already hear your knees groaning just at the thought of it. "Paul," you're probably saying, "I can't squat. I'm not 25 years old anymore." But hear me out. If you can drop into a deep squat at 75 and stand back up without using your hands, you're basically telling time itself, "Not today." This one movement keeps your hips, knees, and ankles from rusting like an old gate in the rain. And trust me, I've seen plenty of rusty gates and rusty people. Now, the second move might sound silly, getting up from the floor without using your hands. Think about it. When you were younger, you didn't even think about getting up from the floor. You just did it. But now, for most folks past 60, getting up from the floor is like planning a military operation. If you can still do it smoothly at 75, your core strength, balance, and leg power are all in working order. And the bonus is, if you ever drop something under the couch, you won't need to call the neighbor's kid to retrieve it. Friend, I can see you smirking right now, probably picturing me rolling around on the carpet trying to prove my point. And yes, I've done it to make my point. And yes, my neighbor once walked in at the wrong time and thought I had fallen. I had to spend 10 minutes convincing him I was training, not in trouble. You see where I'm going with this? These moves aren't about showing off. They're about keeping your independence. And independence, after 70, is worth more than all the gold in the world. Lose your independence, and suddenly life's about waiting for someone to help you do what you used to take for granted. Now, don't worry, I'm not done. There are still 3 more moves that can make the years slip off you like an oversized coat. But before I give you the rest, I want to remind you, if you're enjoying this little trip into my bag of life tricks and you want to keep learning how to live not just longer, but better, go ahead and tap that like button, drop a comment, and hit subscribe. Not because I'm desperate for attention, although let's be honest, who doesn't like a little attention? But because the more of us sharing this kind of wisdom, the more people get to rewrite their own story. All right, Now, where were we? Oh yes, the third move, the overhead reach with a twist. Picture this. You're reaching for something way up high, maybe that dusty photo album you haven't touched since the 80s, and at the same time, you're twisting your torso to grab it from an awkward angle. If you can still do that without pulling something, congratulations. Your spine is still as flexible as a garden hose in the summer, and your shoulders are still on speaking terms with your back muscles. The fourth move, the single leg stand. Stand on one foot for 30 seconds without wobbling like a shopping cart with a bad wheel. Sounds easy until you try it. This isn't just balance, it's your brain, your muscles, and your inner ear all working together like an old married couple that still manages to make things work despite their differences. The ability to balance well is like having a secret insurance policy against falls. And at our age, falls are no joke. You don't bounce back from them, you splatter. And the fifth move, my favorite, is the cross-body reach. Imagine you're sitting and you have to grab something on the opposite side, low and far away, without grunting like you're in a weightlifting competition. This move keeps your obliques, your lower back, and your coordination in tip-top shape. It's the kind of movement you'll use without even thinking about it. But if you lose it, oh boy, you'll notice. Friend, here's the magic. If you can do all 5 of these at 75, you're not just holding on, you're reversing the clock. Your muscles, joints, and your brain are staying young. And the best part? It doesn't require fancy equipment, expensive gyms, or some weird gadget off late-night TV. Just your body, your commitment, and maybe a willingness to look a little silly while practicing.
Now, you might be thinking, Paul, this all sounds good in theory, but come on, at 80 years old, are you really still doing all those moves? Oh, friend, not only am I doing them, I'm making them part of my daily little rituals, the kind that keep me feeling like I've stolen a few decades from Father Time. And honestly, I think he's too busy chasing the ones who gave up early to notice I slipped past him. Let me tell you what each of these moves has meant to me in real life, because that's where the magic happens. Not in some exercise video, but in those unplanned moments when life decides to test you. Take the deep squat. A few months back, my great-granddaughter, the little rascal, rolled her ball under the sofa. Everyone else in the room groaned like we'd just been told the Wi-Fi was down. But me, I dropped into a deep squat, reached under, and came back up without using the coffee table for support. The look on my daughter's face, priceless. She mouthed the words, "Are you kidding me?" like she'd just seen me pull a rabbit out of my ear. That, my friend, is the kind of moment that reminds you why you've been doing those squats for decades. It's not just exercise, it's insurance against becoming that old guy who needs 2 people to help him stand up. Then there's the get up from the floor trick. I'll never forget the day I dropped my car keys in the garage. They slid right under a shelf, and the only way to get them was to crawl down there. Now, most folks my age would have looked at those keys and decided it was easier to call a locksmith. But not me. I dropped to the floor, snatched them up, and popped back up without so much as touching my knees. If anyone had been watching, they'd have sworn I was part cat. Well, maybe an old, slightly sarcastic cat. The overhead reach with a twist? That saved me from more than one awkward, "Can you get that for me, dear?" moment. Last summer, I was in the kitchen making my famous Sunday stew. You know, the one where I tell everyone the secret ingredient is love, but really it's just a ridiculous amount of garlic. The paprika was up on the top shelf. Instead of calling for help, I stretched up, twisted to the side, and snagged it without even losing my balance. My granddaughter clapped. I bowed. It was a good day. Now, the single leg stand, oh, that one has a special place in my heart. You see, balance isn't just about not falling. It's about moving through life without fear. A friend of mine, Harry, he stopped working on his balance years ago. He said, "I don't need it." Then one day, he tripped over his own shoelace and broke his hip. Took him months to get back to normal. He told me later, "Paul, I wish I'd listened to you."
The single leg stand is like a handshake between your brain and your body that says, we're still in this together. Every time I practice it, I feel a little bit invincible, like I could hop my way to the mailbox if I had to. And finally, the cross-body reach. You wouldn't believe how many times that saved me from looking like a helpless old man. A few weeks ago, I was at Martha's house for coffee. She dropped a spoon on the far side of the table. Without thinking, I reached across, twisted just right, and grabbed it before it hit the floor. She laughed and said, "Paul, you move better than my son." I told her, well, maybe your son needs a few lessons from the old guy. But friend, here's the real truth. These 5 moves are not just about physical ability. They're about confidence, freedom, and dignity. They keep me from having to rely on others for every little thing. And when you can still do them at 75, you send a clear message to the world. You're still here, you're still capable, and you're not going quietly into that rocking chair. I want you to picture this. It's your 75th birthday. You got the candles lit, family around, grandkids bouncing off the walls. Suddenly, one of them spills juice all over the floor. Everyone panics. You bend, squat, twist, and clean it up like you're starring in your own action movie. They'll remember that. They'll talk about it for years. That's not just aging well, that's aging with style. So here's what I want you to do. Don't just listen to me and nod politely like you're humoring an old man. I want you to try them right now. Well, maybe after we finish our chat. Test yourself. Deep squat. Get up from the floor without your hands. Reach and twist. Stand on one leg. Cross-body reach. See where you're at. And if you can't do them all yet, good. That means you've got something to work toward. Because here's the beautiful thing. Even if you've lost some of these abilities, you can get them back. The body is stubborn, but it's also forgiving. Give it the right challenge, and it'll surprise you. I've seen folks in their late 70s regain moves they thought were gone forever. You don't need to train like a bodybuilder. You just need to train like someone who plans to be around a long time and still be the one opening jars for the grandkids. Friend, the years are gonna pass whether you like it or not, but how you move through them, that's your choice. You can shuffle and complain, or you can stride, bend, twist, and reach your way into the kind of old age that makes people whisper, "What's their secret?" The truth is, there is no secret. Just 5 little moves and the decision to keep doing them. So go on, start now, surprise yourself, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find that the calendar might say you're getting older, but your body has decided to age in reverse. And when that happens, trust me, it's a beautiful thing.